Somewhere in your kitchen right now, there is a machine you trust completely. You store the food that keeps your family alive inside it. You reach into it a dozen times a day without a second thought. And yet, if you could see what actually lives on its surfaces, in its seams, and in the hidden tray beneath it, you would never look at it the same way again. This is the story of your refrigerator. And it's the story of an ordinary brown bottle sitting forgotten in your bathroom cabinet that cost about $1 and quietly outperforms every expensive appliance cleaner on the shelf. To understand why, we have to start with a problem most people never even know they have. Part 1. The hidden ecosystem. We tend to think of the refrigerator as a clean place. It's cold, after all. It's sealed. It's where we put food precisely because we believe the chill keeps things safe. But cold does not mean sterile. Cold simply means slow. And in that slow, damp, dark environment, an entire ecosystem quietly sets up shop. Researchers who study household appliances have found again and again that the inside of the average refrigerator carries a surprising load of bacteria, including some genuinely unwelcome guests. Species like Salmonella and Listeria don't just survive refrigerator temperatures, they can keep going in them. And the places they gather aren't random. They cluster exactly where we least want them and least think to look. Consider the crisper drawers, the compartments we reserve for raw vegetables, fresh fruit, and sometimes packaged meat. Independent testing has repeatedly singled those drawers out as one of the germiest zones in the entire kitchen, home to mold, yeast, and harmful bacteria. It makes a grim kind of sense. Soil clings to unwashed produce. Juices leak from meat packaging. A forgotten vegetable in the back corner slowly turns to liquid. All of it pools in the one drawer we trust to hold the food we eat raw. Then there's the rubber gasket that seals the door. Peel it back and look into its folds, and you may find black or gray blooms of mold thriving on trapped crumbs and the constant condensation. Every time the door swings open, air passes over that mold and drifts into the space around your food. And beneath the whole machine, out of sight entirely, sits a drip pan. Defrost water trickles down into it and slowly evaporates, leaving behind a warm, wet tray that becomes a private breeding ground for bacteria and slime. This, more often than not, is the true source of the mysterious smell you can never quite scrub away because you've been cleaning the shelves while the odor rises quietly from below. This is the hidden world we're dealing with, and for decades, the proposed solution has been an aisle full of brightly colored sprays, each promising to conquer it, each leaving behind chemical residues on the very surfaces that touch your food. But the most effective answer was never in that aisle at all. Part 2. An unlikely hero. To understand why hydrogen peroxide works so well, you have to understand what it actually is. Chemically, it's almost absurdly simple. It's water with one extra oxygen atom clinging on. 2 hydrogen, 2 oxygen. That single extra atom is the entire secret. That extra oxygen makes the molecule unstable and desperate to let go. When hydrogen peroxide touches bacteria, mold, viruses, or a stubborn stain, it releases that oxygen in a burst of chemical activity called oxidation. To a germ, this is catastrophic. The reaction tears apart the cell walls and internal structures that keep the organism alive. To a stain, it means the pigment molecules causing the discoloration are broken down and dismantled. This is why the United States Environmental Protection Agency recognizes hydrogen peroxide as an effective disinfectant against a broad range of bacteria, viruses, and fungi on hard surfaces. It isn't folk wisdom, it's a genuine germ killer with a science behind it. But here is the part that leaves every commercial cleaner behind. When hydrogen peroxide finishes its work, when that unstable extra oxygen has been spent, what remains is simply water and oxygen. It breaks down into nothing harmful at all. There's no toxic film, no lingering perfume of chemicals, nothing you'd worry about sitting on the shelf beneath your child's lunch. a disinfectant powerful enough to kill listeria that decomposes into little more than water, sold for about $1 a bottle. That's the paradox at the heart of this story. A few ground rules make the whole thing work safely. The bottle you want is the standard 3% solution, the ordinary household strength, and there's no need for anything stronger. Hydrogen peroxide should never be combined with vinegar or bleach in the same container. And because the molecule slowly breaks down when exposed to light, it's sold in those opaque brown bottles for a reason, and it's happiest stored somewhere cool and dark. Follow those simple rules, and you're holding one of the safest, most versatile cleaning agents ever to sit under a bathroom sink. Now, armed with that understanding, let's walk back through that hidden ecosystem and watch this $1 bottle dismantle it piece by piece. Part 3. Reclaiming the interior. We begin where the problem is largest, the open interior, all those walls, shelves, and door bins where germs quietly accumulate. The approach here is refreshingly direct. Empty the refrigerator, pour undiluted 3% peroxide into a spray bottle, and mist down every surface. But the real technique, the step that separates actual disinfection from mere wiping, is patience. After spraying, you wait. A full 5 minutes of contact time gives the peroxide the chance to do its chemical work, to oxidize the microbes rather than just relocate them. That waiting period is the single most overlooked part of cleaning anything, and it's precisely where hydrogen peroxide earns its reputation. Once the time is up, a clean, damp cloth wipes it all away, leaving surfaces that aren't just visibly clean, but genuinely sanitized. The same principle solves the odor problem, and solves it in a way baking soda never can. That box of baking soda absorbs a little of what's floating in the air, but a great deal of refrigerator odor isn't floating at all. It's bonded to the plastic of the walls and shelves themselves. Because hydrogen peroxide is an oxidizer, it doesn't mask those odor molecules or soak a few of them out of the air. It chemically breaks them apart, destroy the source, and the smell is simply gone, not covered, not delayed, but eliminated. Part 4. The places no one looks. Now we descend into the parts of the machine that commercial cleaners never mention, because they can't be reached with a quick wipe of the shelf. Return to that door gasket with its hidden colonies of mold in every fold. A cotton swab or cloth soaked in peroxide, worked patiently into each crease, does what surface wiping cannot. It kills the spores through oxidation rather than smearing them around. For the worst spots, a peroxide-soaked cotton ball left to rest for 10 minutes lets the solution soak in before a gentle scrub with an old toothbrush. The mold dies, and as a bonus, the tired gray seal brightens back toward new, erasing years off the look of the whole appliance. Then there's the drip pan and the defrost drain, the true origin of the smell that haunts so many kitchens. Find the small drain opening, usually at the back of the interior, and pour a little peroxide down it to clear and disinfect the line. Then locate the pan beneath the unit, which often means sliding the refrigerator out and removing a rear or bottom panel. Empty any standing water, wash the pan with peroxide, and you've attacked the odor at its actual source instead of chasing its symptoms upstairs. Do this a couple of times a year, and a whole category of mystery smells simply vanishes from your life. Part 5. Where food meets surface. Some parts of the refrigerator demand extra care because they touch food and water directly, and it's here that peroxide's clean breakdown into water and oxygen becomes not just a nice feature, but the whole reason to choose it. Take the crisper drawers we met earlier, that documented germ hotspot. The move is to pull them out entirely, carry them to the sink, and spray them down generously, paying attention to the corners and seams where grime collects. Let the peroxide sit for its 5 minutes of disinfecting work. Then, because these surfaces cradle produce, you'll eat raw. Rinse them well with clean water and let them dry fully before sliding them home. What goes back in isn't just a wiped drawer, but a sanitized one. The ice maker and water dispenser follow the same logic, and they need it because those constantly damp spaces are prone to mold and pink slime growing right alongside the ice and water you put in your body. Remove the ice bin, dump the old ice, and wash it with peroxide. Do the same for the dispenser drip tray, then rinse everything thoroughly with clean water. The crucial boundary here is simple. Clean the removable parts you can take out and rinse by hand, and leave the internal water lines and reservoirs to be flushed according to the manufacturer's instructions rather than pouring peroxide into them. Stay within that line and you get spotless, mold-free ice and water with no aftertaste and no residue. Part 6. Turning back the clock. Cleanliness is one thing, but hydrogen peroxide can do something that feels almost like time travel, and this is the part that surprises people most. You know the clear plastic drawers and shelf trim in an older refrigerator, the ones that have slowly turned a sad yellow-brown. Most people assume that discoloration is permanent, that the plastic is simply old. It isn't. That yellowing is oxidation on the surface of the plastic, and remarkably, hydrogen peroxide combined with sunlight can reverse it. It's a trick long used by people who restore vintage electronics, and it works on refrigerator parts too. Submerge the yellowed piece in peroxide or coat it and seal it in a clear bag, and then set it in direct sunlight for several hours. The ultraviolet light activates the peroxide and drives the whitening reaction forward. Bring the piece back inside, rinse it, and that ugly tint will be noticeably lighter, sometimes gone entirely. Results depend on the exact plastic, and deep discoloration may need more than one round, but watching a bin you were ready to throw away come back to life is a small, genuine wonder. That same oxidizing, bleaching action makes short work of set-in spills too. A splash of berry juice or tomato sauce that's welded itself to a shelf doesn't need frantic scrubbing. Lay a peroxide-soaked cloth or paper towel directly over the stain, walk away for 15 or 20 minutes, and let the chemistry break down the pigments. When you return to wipe, most of it lifts away with almost no effort. For the most stubborn marks, a paste of peroxide and a little baking soda adds gentle scrubbing texture without scratching the surface. Part 7. The outside and the blind spots. Not all the danger is inside. Think about the door handles, touched by nearly everyone in the household, many times a day, often with hands fresh from handling raw meat or coming in from outside. Those handles rank among the most germ-covered surfaces in the entire kitchen, and yet they're cleaned the least. A cloth dampened with peroxide, wiped over the handles, and given a moment to sit, cuts through the greasy fingerprint film and sanitizes at the same time. The same treatment works across the whole exterior, though on stainless steel, it's wise to test a hidden spot first and wipe along the grain. And then there's the most overlooked blind spot of all, the one that quietly undermines every other effort: your cleaning tools. The kitchen sponge is notorious for harboring more bacteria than almost anything else in the home. Clean your freshly disinfected refrigerator with a filthy sponge, and you've simply painted the germs back on. The fix is elegant. Soak the sponge or cloth in peroxide for a few minutes, and it penetrates deep inside, killing the bacteria living in the core, not just on the surface. Suddenly, your tools are helping you instead of sabotaging you. Part 8. Staying ahead. There's a final insight that ties the whole story together, and it's about time, not chemistry. Grime and mold don't return because they're unbeatable. They return because they're always searching for a foothold, a spilled drop here, a bead of condensation there. The secret to a permanently cleaner refrigerator isn't a bigger, harder scrub every few weeks. It's denying them that foothold before they can grow. So keep a small spray bottle of 3% peroxide within reach, and once a week take 2 minutes for a light pass, a quick mist over the shelves, the door bins, and especially the gasket and any damp corners, followed by a fast wipe. No scrubbing because there's nothing yet to scrub. You're staying ahead of the buildup rather than chasing it. And because peroxide is light sensitive, keeping that bottle in a cool, dark place keeps it potent and ready. And so we arrive back where we started, at that ordinary brown bottle, and at a refrigerator we now understand a little better. Beneath its cold, clean-looking surfaces lived a hidden world of mold, bacteria, and odor, tucked into gaskets and drawers and a forgotten tray below. For years, the answer was supposed to come from a shelf of expensive sprays, each leaving its own chemical trace behind. But the real answer was simpler, cheaper, and more elegant all along. A molecule that's little more than water with an extra atom of oxygen, powerful enough to dismantle the ecosystem hiding in your kitchen, yet gentle enough to break back down into nothing but water and air. $1, a few minutes a week, and a refrigerator that's cleaner from the door handle to the drip pan than any bottle from the store aisle could ever make it. The next time you open that door, you'll know exactly what it took to make the space behind it truly clean. And you'll know the humble little bottle that did it. If this changed the way you see your kitchen, consider subscribing, and we'll keep uncovering the hidden science in the everyday things all around you.